Nobody? Okay, good. This is actually a good thing, right? So that way it's not a redundant thing. Anyways, so I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable with you as I go through this. I hope that as you guys go through today and you're meeting new people and developing relationships, especially those that are new, be a little vulnerable. Ask questions. Gain some experience. These events are really important for a lot of different reasons. One, we're always better together, period. I think the other thing these events do is really hold each other up. This is something that's very special about Plexus. I think those that have been here for a while know that. For those of you that are maybe new, you will get to know that. But that is actually something that really, really attracted me to come and move my family. I uprooted my entire family from Salt Lake City to move to Arizona when I had one that was going to be a senior in high school, one that was going to be a freshman in high school, and one that was just starting junior high. But with that being said, many years ago, I was a teenager and had a really, really good friend of mine, and he and I were really close. And he always wanted to be a career military guy. He wanted to go into the Marines, follow in his father's footsteps. I, on the other hand, wanted to be in business. I wanted to be a successful businessman. Now, little did I know that at some point in my career, I would be the CEO of the most amazing network marketing company on the planet. But I got my start in the industry many moons ago. Had an opportunity to move to Australia. Got on a plane, took 2 suitcases, and headed out to Brisbane, Australia. And I remember getting on this plane, 747, right? I didn't even fly these planes very much anymore. They're mostly cargo, but these planes are so big that I remember getting on the plane, going down the aisle halfway in the plane, finding my seat. And I remember looking all the way forward and all the way back, and I could not see the front and the back of the plane. And it was a little nerve-wracking at the time. And anyways, but I was moving to Australia. What did I care, right? This plane will get off the ground and we'll eventually get there. And so I got there after about 14 hours, stepped off the flight, and what an amazing country. Amazing people. For those of you who don't know, my wife's Australian. My 2 oldest kids are actually born in Australia. They have dual citizenship. But I got there the first week and kind of wanted to take in the sights and see what the country was all about before I started work, and had a great time. Just a great time. And I remember the first day going into the office, I was really excited. And what was interesting was that first day I realized something. It wasn't everybody else that had the accent. I was the guy that had the accent. Right? And what was also very interesting to learn was, just like we are, they're very patriotic. They love their country. Matter of fact, when my wife and I first got married, she said she didn't want to live in the U.S., that she wanted to live in Australia. She didn't want to leave her home country. With that being said, I learned very quickly that I was the Yankee that came in and took a job from an Aussie citizen. That was an interesting spot to be in, as I was in a foreign country, newly married. And all of a sudden I had this little voice talking to me, saying, "Hey man, I don't think you belong here. I don't think you deserve to be here. These people, they're not accepting you." But I had a goal, right? I knew where I wanted to go, and so I kept pushing through that. And after a while, they got to know me, and they got to know my personality, and developed lifelong friendships. Matter of fact, we still go back on vacation, my wife and I and kids, and hang out with some friends that I used to work with, and enjoy each other's company to this very day. But what was interesting about that is I kind of pushed through, right, and didn't let that little voice tell me that I wasn't good enough, or that I didn't deserve to be there, or that I didn't belong. Another opportunity came my way. I got a phone call one day from our corporate office and said, "Hey, we have some problems going on in the Philippines. We trust you. We'd like you to go and babysit this market and be the interim GM for a little while. We don't know how long that's going to be, but would you do that for us?" And so I said, "Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity." So again, grabbed a suitcase, got on a plane, flew out to Metro Manila, got there, and boy, that was some serious culture shock. That was the first time I'd been into kind of a third world country where that people are so amazingly nice. They're just the most generous, loving people on the planet. What's ironic about that is I remember going to the bank the first time. There's two armed guards with rusty sawed-off shotguns. And they're at banks, they're at malls, they're at gas stations, they're at all these different places. And so it was quite interesting to be there. But I remember going into the office, and first day I walked in the office, had a bunch of people run up and try to grab my bag. And I was like, it's okay, I got my bag, don't worry about it. And after a while, what I realized is they were so excited for me to be there because they needed me to lead them through the tough times that they were going through with the previous general manager that had got them into a little bit of hot water. And that kind of weighed pretty heavily on me at that time. And all of a sudden there was that little voice in my head again going, man, I don't really think you belong here. You don't deserve to be here. And I bet some of you sitting in this room may have got in your car today and thought, oh well, we'll go, we love Puxes, but I'm not sure if I fit in. I'm not sure if I belong. I want you to know something, and these ladies up here talked about it. Our community is special, and you do belong. We want everybody to be part of our community. So back to my little story here. Enjoyed the time in the Philippines. Got to do lots of amazing things, but it was time for me to end my time there. I went back to Australia, and not too long after that, I got another phone call. The company said, hey, how'd you like to move to London? I thought, whoa, this could be interesting. But I was a little worried about it because my wife at the time, as I said before, she didn't want to leave her country. So I had a chat with her, and oddly enough, she was like, it sounds like fun, let's do this. So there I was again, another suitcase, got on an airplane, took off, landed in London, first time in Europe ever, and I met my new boss. And I remember meeting him in this temporary office, like a Regis type office, right? And there was nothing there. There was desks, no telephones, no infrastructure, no employees, no nothing. And I said, where is everybody? Where is everything? And they're like, that's what we hired you for. Okay, that's interesting. And there really wasn't anything there, even down to new bank accounts, new distribution infrastructure. I remember being in the Centrepoint Tower of central London, some 30 floors up, meeting with Grant Thornton. And Grant Thornton, they're like top 5 CPA firms in the world. And I got in a boardroom with a couple folks that were the utmost experts in Europe when it came to customs law, jurisdictions, VAT, they call it value-added tax, right? Europe can kind of be a tough nut to crack when it comes to business, and so here was I didn't know anything about this, sitting in the room with these experts. Guess what? The little voice came in my head again and said, oh boy, I don't think you belong here. You don't deserve to be here. But I made a choice. And the choice was that I was going to continue to power through this. And I was going to soak up everything that I heard from these guys. And I was going to ask questions. I wasn't going to let that little voice kind of keep me in the corner, right? Keep me from progressing, keep me from moving forward. So guess what? After being there 3 years, I became the expert in European VAT and how that all worked and how to deal with customs jurisdictions and move product through customs borders and all those fun different things. And then my wife came to me one day because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when I was in London, I saw more sun on the plane than I did on the ground because it really is rainy and dreary every day. And so she actually had what they call seasonal effectiveness disorder, SAD. So she was actually depressed from not seeing the sun. So I had to call the corporate office and I said, hey, this has been a wonderful ride, wonderful journey, but my wife's not happy here, and unless you kind of have something else for us, we're probably going to move back to Australia. And they said, no, just hang tight for a little bit. So about 6 weeks later, I got another phone call, and they said, hey, how about you move to the U.S.? We're going to pack you up, move you to the U.S., pay for all the immigration, because at the time, of course, my wife was Australian, my 2 oldest were Australian, and we had not applied for citizenship in the U.S. And so another amazing opportunity, and they brought us to the U.S. and took care of all of that, and that was a fun time. And then all of a sudden, interesting times happened. The company was having a little struggle, and I was part of a big, massive layoff. Got kicked out. Here I was after being with the company for like 8 years, traveling the world, building their business, and all of a sudden, I guess I wasn't good enough. That they didn't need me anymore, that I didn't need to be there, that I didn't deserve to be there anymore. That was a tough place to be for a while. But I continued to power through that. And that's that little voice was talking to me. I kept saying, no, I can keep going. I know what I need to do. And so another unique opportunity came my way with another network marketing company, but this time it was publicly traded, right? For those of you who don't know, publicly traded companies have a lot of rules and regulations to follow. Follow Sarbanes-Oxley, you have to follow all these SEC rules, and if you don't do it right, then guess what? Directors can go to jail and actually come down and hook you up with the cuffs and take you down to the slammer and put you away. And all of a sudden, there I was trying to figure out how to operate in this environment. I thought that was pretty interesting. And guess what? There was that little voice again going, yeah, I don't think you're the guy. I don't think you need to be here. You don't deserve to be here. But I decided I was going to do the same thing that I had always done. I was going to press through that. And I was going to learn everything I possibly could. And I powered through that for about 5 years with that company. And guess what I learned? I don't ever want to be part of a publicly traded company, ever. Very, very different animal, to say the least. But anyways, another opportunity came my way with a private equity organization, and it was a fun ride for a little while. And we grew a little company from nothing to about $25 million in about 18 months. And then I realized that the private equity guys, all they really cared about was the dollar. All they really cared about was the bottom line. And it's not something that I really wanted to be a part of. I don't want to be a part of a company that cares about the people. Because we're in a relationship business, we're in a people business. We're trying to grow our communities, right? And so anyways, I all of a sudden got called by a recruiter one day, and this recruiter said, hey, you ever heard of this company called Plexus? And I was, no, I've never heard of a company called Plexus. I was actually very intrigued. And what was interesting about that is the reason I didn't hear anything about Plexus is because the companies in the industry that you don't hear from are the ones that are doing it right. They're the ones that are all about their people, all about their community. Okay? A lot of other companies in our industry, that's not how they operate. And usually what happens is like attracts like, right? And so you get this field that's always divisive, and they're always fighting with each other, and you hear this, and there's noise in the industry, and there's this crazy cross-recruiting, and then there's changing of comp plans, and there's all these different weird and wonderful things because it's not about the people, it's about them. So I got on a plane, went down, and had my first conversation with Carl Robinson 5 years ago, and I remember very clearly sitting across from him, and of course, you'd hear this, right? It's about doing network marketing the way it could be done, should be done, but very rarely is. And that resonated with me. Another thing that resonated with me was work-life balance. You've got to have a balance. There was a point in my time where my career, I didn't have any balance. I was on a plane every 6 weeks to some international country, either working on new business, meeting with ambassadors, setting up new manufacturing, whatever it was at the time. But there was no balance. And what happened was it took a toll on my family and the relationship with my wife. And so when Carl talked about this was something that really resonated with me. So guess what? I took an offer. I moved my family down to Scottsdale. I remember first day in the office, and the company's amazing. I mean, just the camaraderie and onboarding. I remember taking a picture of the placard where it says TIPS, Chief Operating Officer, and all these signs that say welcome to the company, and balloons, and it was fun. But guess what? There was that little voice saying you don't deserve this. But again, I pushed on, and I decided that I was going to do everything I could to improve every area of the company that I could. Fast forward to about 7 weeks ago now on a Friday. It was Friday afternoon, about 6:30. Everybody was gone. And I found myself sitting in the office of a man that built the most amazing company. And he had handed that office to me. So I sat there for probably about 30 minutes by myself. There was that little voice. All of us have that little voice at some point that says, "You can't do this. It's too hard. You don't deserve to be in it." But guess what? It was finally my turn, after all these years, to be a part of something special, to take the reins of a company that had the most solid foundation that I'd ever been a part of, and have the opportunity to be trusted to take it to the next level. And guess what? For all of you here, it's your turn. It's your turn, if you choose to take it. And that's the message I want to send to you right now. Okay? Don't let that little voice at any time stop you. It's going to be there. It will never go away. But you got to figure out how to manage that and how to push that thing away. And you're going to hear from some incredible people today. People from corporate, more of our ambassadors. Take the time to soak it all in, to talk to people, to relationship build. Can you do something for me before we kick off the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Okay, so on 3, is it going to repeat, "It's my turn"? Okay? On 3, we're going to say, "It's my turn." 1, 2, 3.
It's my